Welcome in, everyone, to the SEC Every Game on the Board from a Vegas perspective. I am Drew Martin, live in Las Vegas, Nevada, on YouTube at Drew Martin Bets and Facebook as well at Drew Martin Bets. So going through each and every game in the SEC in under 10 minutes with a top play and a bet on every game. Just recap here. We are 23-20 in the degenerate style bet on every game. That's plus 1 unit, meaning if you're a $100 bettor, you've gotten a whole lot of entertainment and you've made $100 if you bet on every game I've recommended. And the top play, 5-3 plus 1.7 units, mean a $100 bettor, you're up $170 betting the top play each and every week. So last week was huge. We won the top play with Vanderbilt plus the 18 points. They only lost by 3, cashing our ticket and hit the 2 overs. So 3-0 last week. So hopefully keep this ball rolling here. Now we got a lot more games, so I'm going to have to steam through them and get this done within 10 minutes. But overall, guys, it's been a fun season, so hopefully can keep the good times rolling. We'll go in order of kickoff here, starting with LSU and Arkansas. Battle for the Golden Boot, I believe it's called, and it makes a lot of sense. Arkansas on top of Louisiana makes the boot shape there, so I believe that's what it's called from a rivalry standpoint. We got LSU minus 1 point road favorites, 63.5 being the total. I like Arkansas plus 1 here. I like the home dog to win outright. I took them plus 1 as the play here. We'll go on record with that. LSU just 2-3 on the season, a 3-week layoff. I would look for Russ from that perspective. They're 104th in rushing, just 119 yards per game. A true freshman quarterback. Don't like that recipe. Can't rush the ball. Now you're throwing out a true freshman quarterback. And Arkansas, Felipe Franks throwing it around. He's actually played pretty good. Now, I know they got torn up by Florida last week, but this is a whole different matchup against LSU. Kendall Briles dialing it up at the offensive coordinator position. Arkansas has been a great bet this year, guys. 6-1 against the spread. One of, if not the most profitable team in all of college football. Trend is your friend. I like Arkansas plus 1 for the first game here. Second game up, also 12 noon Eastern kick on ESPN, Florida versus Vanderbilt. I just did a best bet video, actually. It's on the YouTube channel and on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. On this one, on the total up and over. So it's for my overall best bet, something I'm invested in personally pretty good. Up and over 68 on the total. Florida, Kyle Trask throwing it around, Dan Mullen dialing it up. I think that they're going to look to continue putting the pedal to the metal and putting a lot of points up. Vanderbilt offensively going a little bit more up tempo, and their true freshman quarterback has played a lot better, over 800 yards passing in his last 3 games. And Vanderbilt's defensive secondary is pretty banged up. So in short, those are the reasons why I like this one up and over the total. Florida versus Vanderbilt. We got Kentucky versus Alabama, 4 p.m. on SEC Network. Looks like Alabama minus 30-point home favorites and 58 being the total. Kentucky, their offense woke up a little bit last week, and they're also 7-3 their last 10 as underdogs. So Terry Wilson, he was running around pretty good here. We have seen Alabama struggle. I mean, struggle is a little aggressive, but not play as well against mobile quarterbacks. They're going to get one here in both Wilson and Joey Gatewood, the backup. Alabama, 3 straight wins and covers. But it's the week before the Iron Bowl, just unique to the year 2020 here. They kept the rivalry weekend, the weekend of Thanksgiving. So you got to remember, the Iron Bowl is next week. And Nick Saban, the week before the Iron Bowl, has not been a good bet. Alabama has not covered many spreads the week before Auburn. I would look for them to kind of shut it down here if they got, a 3, 4, 5 touchdown lead, and Kentucky could slip through the back door. I'm going to take the underdog here, guys. Kentucky plus 30, mainly due to that trend of Alabama not covering many spreads week before the Iron Bowl. I think that's kind of a spot play here on Kentucky plus 30, plus the fact they've been good as underdogs under Stoops there in Lexington. We got ESPN, Aaron, 7 p.m. matchup, Tennessee at Auburn. We got the Tennessee Volunteers catching 10.5 in Jordan-Hare, 50.5 being the total. Tennessee's lost 4 straight, guys. ATS. They have COVID issues all over the place. It's really hard to find ways to be betting Tennessee right now. They haven't looked good in quite a while, and they're going up against an Auburn Tigers team that, yes, they didn't play last week either, but this is kind of a tricky handicap because I'm not so sure if they're going to come out rusty, or the fact that Gus Malzahn with extra preparation time has been a huge money bet. That's what I'm banking on here. So I like Auburn minus the 10.5 in Jordan-Hare. There's a personal kicker here. If Cam Newton's not taking snaps for Auburn, I am definitely under 50% betting him. I am a War Eagle alumni, so keep that in mind. I'm not betting this for very much money at all. But for record-keeping purposes, Auburn minus 10.5 will be the play in that one. We got two more here, and then I'll recap it all. Trying to keep this under 10 minutes, guys. SEC, every game on the board from a degenerate style, and we'll give out a top play on this video. Also got the best bet video up on the YouTube channel as well, and on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. We got SEC Network airing 7:30 Eastern kick. Mississippi State versus the Georgia Bulldogs, 44.5 being the total in Athens. Georgia laying 24.5 pretty much across the board. JT Daniels might get the snaps here. Really not sure who's going to be taking snaps for Georgia at the quarterback position. I'm not really sure it matters all that much. Going to primarily, in my opinion, keep it on the ground here against Mississippi State, play good defense against the Mississippi State offense that really hasn't been the same since week one. Both had games scheduled last week. UGA really more so because of the Missouri side, and Mississippi State did not meet the 53-player minimum requirement because of COVID and injury issues. So that's why they canceled. So carrying that over to this week, I think there's lingering issues there on the Mississippi State side. Don't always like laying big numbers here, especially over 3 touchdowns. But Georgia minus 24 is the play for the record. So one last game here, guys. Missouri at South Carolina, 57 being the total in Columbia. Missouri minus 6. Only one way I could bet this. I mean, it's just too tough to bet South Carolina. I mean, they just fired Will Muschamp. I don't really agree with that decision, not because they should have kept him in the offseason, but if you're going to fire him before the season or after the season. He was well-liked in the locker room by everything I'm reading. Sure enough, he gets fired. People from the defense, but I think both starting cornerbacks are now opting out of the season. So I really don't get what's going on there in the South Carolina program. Now, Mike Bobo's the interim head coach. This is his first time being here. He just came over in the offseason. So I don't like what's going on there in the South Carolina side. I'm not in love with the Missouri program, especially because of the COVID issues. But under a touchdown here against the South Carolina team that, heck, it's checking all the boxes of a team that's quit. And coming into 2020, this was one thing I circled. Watch out for teams that quit on the season and look to just fade city, bet against them at all costs. This is starting to check a lot of those boxes, guys. So I'm not going, big on this, but I did buy a little piece here of Missouri minus 6 points against South Carolina for the last SEC game here. So going to be able to keep it under 10 minutes, guys. We got more games this week than last week, off the 3-0 last week, and hopefully can keep the good times rolling. So Daniel, welcome in as well. Big play, you're taking Kentucky. All right, man. Plus 30. It's always tough to go against Alabama, but you're right. Top play is Kentucky plus the 30 points. So 5-3 on the top plays, plus 1.7 units. Going to go with Kentucky as the top play here, plus 30. Now for degenerate rundown here, LSU, Arkansas. I like Arkansas plus 1, the home dog in that one. Florida versus Vanderbilt. Good weather in Nashville. Both offenses, I think, punch it in a bunch, especially the Florida side. 68. I like up and over the total of 68. Florida versus Vanderbilt. The top play, Kentucky versus Alabama. Kentucky plus 30 points. Fading Alabama here, not from a straight-up perspective, from an ATS perspective. The week before the Iron Bowl has been a moneymaker. We got Auburn minus 10 in the hook, also before the Iron Bowl, but I'm kind of factoring in Gus Malzahn off of extra preparation time has been a good bet. And Tennessee's just fade city for me. We got Georgia minus 24.5 against Mississippi State. Mississippi State hasn't been able to do anything offensively. I don't love laying points, but heck, got to have a play. So Georgia minus 24.5. In Missouri, minus the 6. Fade city on South Carolina, at least until further notice, guys. So that does it for the rundown. Jay, welcome in. Daniel, thanks for joining me as well, guys. So top play being Kentucky plus 30. That was the rundown. Best of luck from Las Vegas, guys. Enjoy the games this weekend in the SEC. I'll be back next week. Best of luck, guys.